speaking of crowns, we are racing for a crown at the Kentucky Derby, and it's time for our next guest, the star of the Netflix hit show.
Oh, yeah! That's what we want! Oh, yeah!
I celebrate really, really loud.
Watch this!
Before, where everyone has, a suit and tie, and, I had Muffy and Buffy to my left, and this blue blood to my right, where everything was just a golf clap. I think I've changed the game.
They're going fast!
Take that, Muffy and Buffy. An Oscar-worthy performance. I've had 2 coffees in preparation for this interview because I know you're shot out of a cannon on Derby week. Mike Repole, how are you? Welcome.
Good, Kay. So you're not the only one saying Oscar-worthy. I'm hearing a lot of people starting to buzz right now. I know it's a little early, but a lot of people are talking about it, Kay. So I'm doing great. I leave right after I'm done here. We're going to go off to Louisville. And I'll be there a couple of days in the morning, and then for Friday and Saturday for the card.
When you get to Churchill Downs for the first time this trip, after heartbreak, back-to-back years, what do you think is going to be going through your head?
Well, I've had 10 starters in the Derby. 8 of them have raced, so I'm 0 for 8. And then I had 2 scratches back in 11 with Uncle Mo, and then last year, and then Forte 2 years ago, and then Fiercest was the favorite. So it's a place that only because I love self-torture, I continually go back every single year. But, that's that type A personality. And, this year's a little bit different, Kay. I mean, the last 2 years I've gone there with the favorite. This year, we're like 8th or 9th favorite at 20-1. So the feelings are a little bit different.
Are they different? Because I was thinking about, I read a quote that you said, oh, it's a privilege to have pressure, but it's a privilege to have less pressure. And I was like, I don't know that you'll feel less pressure. Like, I don't know. What does it change to you? What is the advantage of having a horse in the Derby that is not favored?
Yeah, no, okay, that's a great question. When Fierceness ran 5 weeks before the Derby in the Florida, in the Florida Derby, he won by 14.5 lengths. And before the race, I said, if Fierceness loses, this will be a very tough 24 hours. But if Fierceness wins, this is going to be a really tough 5 weeks. So the pressure of having the Derby favorite, and Fiercest last year won by 14 lengths, and there was tremendous hype. It's just every single day. So I think the pressure's the same, but instead of 35 sleepless nights, maybe you only get 5 instead. So you sleep a little bit better.
How does the pressure compare, that pressure we're talking about associated with what the outside world looks at as the favorite, all of that, to the pressure of you being and sort of embracing this bad boy villain role, and also being the richest guy who could just throw money at the whole thing? Like, the pressure that comes with that seems to be huge, but you seem to like it.
I've had that pressure when I was 10 years old and I had 5 cents to my name. I mean, that was more of an internal pressure of, as you know, probably my dad was a waiter, my mom was a seamstress. I'm first generation. So having the underdog villain or not good enough or, challenger person, I mean, that's my persona, whether I was 5 or 55 years old. So I embrace it. I mean, listen, I think it's, when people like me, I like it a lot. When people hate me, I'm one person that loves it. I really enjoy the banter, and the Mike from Queens comes out, and it's all in good fun.
What do you think people get wrong about you? Because obviously you opened up a little bit. We get to see you, of course, with everything you do with Noble. You're sort of an open book. Do you think there's a misconception about Mike Repole?
It's funny that you say, I think if people watch Mike Repole, if they want to write a good story about great things about him, I think it's there. If you want to write some terrible things about him, I also think it's there. I really think it's how people perceive me, not how I'm perceived out there. So, listen, I have one personality. It's easy to remember. So this is who I am. I'm always going to be this way. And, I'm big into family. I'm big into friends. I'm big into loyalty. Yeah. But, listen, if you're on the other side, I've been friends with, Kobe Bryant and Tom Brady. I mean, if you're on the other side, you're against me, man. And we got to compete. And, when it's over, it's over. But I can let it go easier sometimes than other people, though.
Tell us about Grande, everything we need to know.
Listen, he's the opposite of what Forte and Fierceness was as far as getting here. Forte was a 2-year-old champ. Fiercest was a 2-year-old champ. So there was a lot of hype, going back as a 2. Grande just started as a 3-year-old. He won his first start, looked really, really good. His sire is Curlin, and Curlin is known for later developing horses and horses that want more distance. His second race, he went out there, he won again. So people started to talk about him a little bit. And then in the Wood Memorial, he actually ran his best race and came in second, but it was the first time he had a little adversity. He broke a little slow, he was wide, he got some dirt in his face. And listen, there was a time maybe at the 3/8 pole, I said, wow, he's gonna come in 7th. I guess I'm going to Kentucky without a Derby horse. And he made this incredible move and probably ran the best race, very wide, got up for second, galloped out great. And I think he's just going into this race like, I've said this before, you can only be a 3-year-old the first Saturday in May, one time in your life. And I think he's going into this, peaking. And he got to Churchill and he's doing great. And, there's, as there's 20 horses and, at the gate, and they could run the horse 10 times and you'd probably get 10 different winners, Kay. It really is the kind of a lot of racing luck, great ride by the jockey, and the horse has to want it that day.
And you are the glutton for punishment. Like you're saying, you keep coming back. Did Joya not have a successful enough campaign? Like she's like, don't keep doing this to yourself. Like, how is she feeling this week?
She's unfortunately and fortunately, I guess, she's a lot like me. I always wanted a girl, but I forgot to ask God for my wife's personality and said she got mine. So I was wishing she had Maria's personality. I would have taken the boy with Maria's personality, but that's another story. It's too late now. But, she's got this fire. She got this competitiveness. Yeah. And she's got this observation. She knows it's too hard to win. There's 20 horses, but deep inside, she's proud, excited. She gets as nervous as me. Last year, as disappointed as I was with Fierceness, when she started hysterically crying at the end of the race, I mean, that's when, I quickly went from horse owner loser to dad. And she took it really seriously. And, it's cool to have a daughter who has the same interests as you and roots as hard for your horses as you do. It's really nice.
It's beautiful, and it's a family affair. Every time I've ever seen you there, you're surrounded by your family. I've gotten to meet your beautiful daughter, and I appreciate just sort of the look into what it's all like. I feel like you've been very candid about it. As far as being this bad boy, is it as simple as like you're just really rich and people are jealous of that? Like, what is the root of it? Because I'm also like, you have all this. I don't know if there's a salary cap. You can tell me. I'm just a casual fan. Like, is money everything in this business? I don't know, because I feel like then you would have won because you have the most money.
I would say a couple things. Number one, I find that people that are successful in horse racing or get into horse racing usually been successful in other businesses. Mm-hmm. And the principles that they used in their other businesses, they throw out the window here. They're like, oh, and what I tell them is you'd be cheaper if you just got a yacht for $10 million and you'd probably have a lot more fun on the ocean than you would at the track. This is, in real, like in Noble, the business is 80% and luck is probably 20%. In horse racing, the luck is 80% and the business plan is probably 20%. But, Kay, you'd be surprised at how many people come into this game without a business plan. And I have a great team of people. A great relationship with Todd Pletcher, who's one of the best trainers in the country and Hall of Famer. I'm not a Hall of Famer. He is. I don't know how that happened. We'll talk about that later. But you know what? It's listen, you need more horses, but it's not about money. My team works really, really hard, and I take it serious. I take it like an owner of a sports team that wants to win the Super Bowl every year.
And you're bringing back everybody. Like, a lot of people would clean house. You're talking about making these decisions. It's a team thing. You're bringing back Todd, the Hall of Famer, and your jockey, Johnny Velasquez. What went into that decision? Was it just the second you guys lost last year, let's run it back?
Yeah, listen, Johnny and Todd and I have had a relationship for like 15 to 20 years. Mm-hmm. They were on my, before I got into racing, Kay, I watched them. I didn't have good enough horses to give Todd or Johnny for riding. So I got tired from 2005 to 2010 of being in a race with them, but watching Todd and Johnny in the winner's circle and me from afar. So it's like one of those, if you can't beat them, join them. And Todd and I have been partners now with horses for 16 years. And, listen, we spoke today for 45 minutes. It was 10 minutes on Grande and 35 minutes about who's coming in for him, his kid, and my family. And I always say, Todd's a really great friend now, and it's a disadvantage now, Kay, because I think he takes me for granted. He curses me out. He doesn't try to impress me anymore. He knows he can't be fired. He's like my brother. He can't be fired. So my brother Gerard and Todd have a job for life. So I guess it works out pretty good. But I'm a loyal guy. I'd rather lose in the Derby with 50 family and friends than win it by myself in the winner's circle and just be lonely. So I got my childhood friends since I was 10 years old with me. I got my nieces and nephews, Maria for 25 years, my parents, 85, 80. I don't got the toughest entourage in the world, so I don't have the best villain entourage. I'll say it that way.
Are you switching anything up this year? Anything unique? Obviously, like the favorite not being the favorite, that's a change. But anything else? Are you like a switch up your juju kind of guy?
No, you know what? I think if you get blessed enough and lucky enough to keep coming here, it's like the New York lottery. They said you had to be in it to win it. This is 5 straight years. I always call this the most humbling week of my life. Like, all right, Mike, you're a winner 51 weeks a year, and then you got this week, and then you're humiliated on national TV with 18 million people watching. But it's listen, Kay, I'm the type of person, if you tell me something has a 99% chance, I have no interest. If you tell me something has a 1% chance, I'm all in. And one of the reasons why I got into horse racing, and it's a challenge, and and we've been blessed to win so many races, Breeders' Cups, Belmont Stakes, Travers, and the winning offsets the losses, and it's a family affair. The parties are great, win or lose. And we celebrate whether we win or come in 12th in the Derby, and we enjoy life.
You told me last year that fierceness was like Kobe. It reminded you of Kobe. I think you might have even said Brady. Who does Grande remind you of? Give me like a sport comp.
It's interesting. He probably isn't Brady because Tom came in undrafted and won a Super Bowl like in the second or third year. Grande would be more of a player, who's probably been in the league 5 or 6 or 7 years that just keeps slowly sneaking up on you and getting better. And then when he wins, you're surprised, but you're not surprised. So I don't really have a great analogy for somebody like that, but someone who has been in the league for a while and then became a star after 5 or 6 years. I think Grande he's like the wise guy horse right now. People are starting to talk about him and saying, this horse has a chance. And
do you want that though? Like, are we wanting the hype around Grande, or are we trying to like undersell, over deliver? What is the strategy?
Well, my thing is always to oversell and over deliver. Unfortunately,
I love that for you.
Unfortunately, with the Kentucky Derby, I've been overselling and under delivering. So I might as well undersell and hopefully over deliver one day. But listen, I think he's got as good a shot as any horse. It's one of those races where, jockeys have never raced any race other than Kentucky Derby with 20 horses. So it's new to them. Post positions from 1 to 20 are very different. 160,000 fans versus 10,000 fans is different for the horse also. So there's all these variables that are so hard to even figure out. And like I said, if you ran the same race 10 times in a row, you'd probably get 10 winners. I just got to hope that Saturday at 6:45 is my 1 out of 20.
Why is this your year?
Because the other 10 weren't. Okay, so,
I'm trying to think of who the NFL comp would be. I would almost say like Travis Kelce, because it took him a couple of years, and then he steadily builds into a champion. Josh Allen, highly touted.
Yeah, but Josh is. I like Josh
already.
Yeah, he's there. He's just one step from that Super Bowl, and that's it. But I wouldn't say Kurt Warner because he was bagging groceries. Grande wasn't bagging groceries, but somebody that's been in the league before 5 or 6 years before he became a star.
We can't even say he's Mike Repole because you had a rougher go. Came.
Yeah. Well, I listen. I had 2 parents that loved me, that gave me a Catholic school education and food on my plate. And as soon as I graduated 3rd grade, I had a higher education than both of them. So I've been playing with house money since I was 10 years old. So this is all just life for me right now. I'm having a lot of fun, and but nobody loves winning more than me, man. Kay, that's what I do.
Well, you are friends with Tom Brady. You're wearing the Noble shirt. When are you going to buy an NFL team? Let's go.
Well, the valuations keep going. What are they? 30 billion this week, 20 billion, 10 billion. I honestly, I tell almost everybody, I can afford almost anything in my life except for an NFL team. I'm done. I mean, Noble's got a hit, so I can maybe buy an NFL team. I mean, I love the NFL. I've looked into some maybe minority investments, as you see that they're out there. Yeah, but I don't know. I mean, Kay, do you see me as a good minority owner? I don't know. What do you think?
I think you'd be a great owner. I mean, you might have to
minority owner. What about a minority owner? How do you think
owner.
about that? You know,
Sure.
they tell you can't say a lot. You can't talk a lot. You can't really do interviews. I would probably screw that up. What do you think?
Yeah, I don't think that that's for you. If that's true, then that's not for you. It's so crazy, like that you even think that I know what it would. I don't even know what being a minority owner entails. The fact that you on any given day are looking at what NFL teams are going for is hilarious to me. I'm over here like price of gas, cost of eggs, and you're wheeling and dealing in the billions of an NFL team. I would like to see it. I think, obviously, like, you're a good business partner. You and Patino are going to own a horse. What you did to change, to really, the impact you had on St. Johns is crazy. It's crazy in the turnaround and your investment. But I'm going to ask you this, like, I'd like to hear about your vocal impact. I'm sure you don't quietly just sit there and cut checks.
No, I mean, well, first of all, the most vocal thing was about getting the right coach. And I love St. John's. I graduated there in 1991. I was there during the Mullen and Mark Jackson years. And I was a kid who sat back then it was the blue seats in the 400s. And I thought of basketball, the Big East tournament was going down there, but I couldn't really tell because I was so far away. But, it was Patrick Ewing and Chris Mullen. And I've always wanted them to go prime time, and finally, when Rick decided this was right for him and St. John said this was right for him, I told Rick, I said, listen, I'm going to do everything I can to make sure you don't fail. I mean, this is important to me. And, I live in Florida now, so the ability to go back to New York, and I haven't heard Madison Square Garden like this since like 1985 and 1990. I mean, the buzz that St. John's got in the last year, and Rick did an amazing job, the staff, the players, and I'm all in this year. I mean, we got 6 portal players, and we got the #1 draft portal draft, and so I'm in. I mean, I'm ready. Vice did a great show with Patino, and they had me also, and there I play a good guy because St. John's fans actually like me. But it's Final Four or bust for the next 5 years with me. I mean, that's what we're here to do, and it's not just for St. John's; it's for all of New York and Madison Square Garden. And Rick's an amazing person and friend, and I might be biased, but he's the greatest college basketball coach ever. He's done it so many different places with so many teams with the same great results.
Buy a team with him in the NFL. I'd like to see it. St. John's preseason #3 today, which I love. And as you said, the #1 portal class. Give me your 1-sentence pitch to recruit guys to St. John's. What would you say?
If you want to play in front of 20,000 people at Madison Square Garden with everybody watching for a Hall of Fame coach, and maybe one day work for Mike Repole, you want to come to St. John's. There you go.
I have a sort of a crude question. Bigger check this year to St. John's or on Grande?
Definitely St. John's. Grande, someone one day will give me a bigger check because he'll be worth a lot as a stallion, and I'll stay in always. I always own 25 or 33% of my horses that go off the stud in a couple of years, but definitely St. John's. And, it's so great for New York City. Kay, you got to come up for a game. And
I want to. You're like the most, you're like,
time.
I don't even know. You're the most famous person ever. I just see these clips and you're just like front and center and living your best life. And so I'm always just like, what is it like to be you? And then I can watch Netflix chasing The Crown and I'll check that out. Also, you're looking quite lean. You've been in the gym really quick. Like, what is this workout regimen? What's happening here?
It's 2 things. Number 1, when you stand next to Tom Brady and you take pictures with Tom,
Gotcha.
even
Say
thin
less.
guys look. So I can't be as tall as him, so I got to get at least half his size. So that's been it. And honestly, with Noble, Tom is kind of getting into his business career, so I've been a great ally to him. and you know how fit he is and how he eats and talks to you about inflammation and nutrients and this partnership with Nobles. He's making me better, physically, and I think I'm helping you mentally. So it's been a good little balance, and we're good friends, and he helps me out a lot, and I help him a lot, and then we make fun of each other. So it works
Sounds
out
like
great.
we have a good little group here. You, me, Patino. I just threw myself in there. You, me, Patino,
sure.
Tom Brady. Let's buy a team. I'll put in, $5,000.
Yeah, well, hey,
all.
when you're a minority owner,
Okay.
it doesn't matter if it's 49 or 0.001. We're never going to tell anybody.
I couldn't keep my mouth shut, just like you. All right, Mike Repole, appreciate you. Good luck to Grande. Sending love to all of your family, and we'll see you down Churchill Downs.
Thank you, Kay. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Appreciate you. I know all St. John's fans appreciating you as well.